live stream, please. Oh, that made everybody quiet. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to everybody joining us on live stream and everyone here in council chambers. I'm going to call our regular council meeting of Tuesday, July 11th to order. We have an agenda in front of us. Mr. Coleman, are there any additions or deletions?
Nothing from administration, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Be looking for someone to move the agenda as presented. Councillor Wanchuk, thank you. All in favor? It's unanimous. We also have minutes in front of us from our June 13th, 2023 regular council meeting. Looking for someone to move those as well. Councillor Verdi, thank you very much. Comments, questions, errors, or omissions from anyone else? I am seeing none. All in favor? That is unanimous. We have an opportunity at the beginning of every meeting for anybody who would like to address council on a matter that is not on the agenda, can do so now. Come forward, please. Just state your name and your address, and then we have a 5-minute time limit. So as soon as you get started, we will start timing. Oh, and we'll get you some help with the microphone. Thank you. Okay. Ready? You bet.
Good afternoon. My name is Marty McCrae. I reside in Leduc County. I will only take a few minutes of your time today. I feel this is an important issue for our citizens of Leduc County. In accordance with the Local Election Act, Section 147.3 and 147.4, candidates are required to file a disclosure statement in the prescribed form. The question I have is in keeping with council's desire to be transparent. Will Leduc County post the disclosure statements in the prescribed form on Leduc County's website for the elections of 2021 and the by-election of 2022? I'll give you some examples of municipalities that are currently offering this to their citizens, and they are the City of Leduc, the City of Edmonton, the City of Spruce Grove, Strathcona County, Lacombe County, the City of St. Albert, and the City of Fort Saskatchewan. I didn't proceed to look any further, but I'm sure there's more out there. I leave this in your hands to make a decision on behalf of Leduc County residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. McCrae. We will consider your request and we will be getting back to you in writing. Thank you. All right, moving on, we have a number of staff introductions. So I'm going to move up to the front and we're going to start in communications, I believe. Michael?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Council. It is my pleasure to introduce our new communications coordinator, Cara Tenderandra. Cara joins us from Public Schools Board Association of Alberta, where she worked with government, school board trustees, and the media. She brings with her extensive experience and knowledge in communications, brand management, marketing, and business development. And to back that up, she has a bachelor's degree in English and an MBA in marketing. Cara has a wide array of industry experience in the areas of education, construction, oil and gas, and manufacturing. Cara.
Well, congratulations and welcome.
We'll do three at a time, Madam Mayor and Council. just wanted to take this moment and introduce 3 light equipment operators to Leduc County. So over the last number of months, we've been recruiting and we have had these individuals for the last couple months. So first is Amos Verlasant. Amos comes to us from working in the city of Leduc at the rental house. So very, very fortunate to bring both his experience and Brian Downey's experience, who both worked at the rental house as small engine mechanics, to our light equipment operator group. These 2 individuals work out of our east shop, so the Nisku shop. So a huge asset to us having them working with all our small engines, working on the crews, pothole patching, and the willingness and desire to just do whatever they need for road maintenance. Then we have Josh Waters, and Josh works out of our West Thorsby shop. Probably familiar with the last name Waters. Family farms right in the Wetaskiwin, and Josh resides just right near Wizard Lake. And his dad's a cattle hauler. So Josh, family young farm man who likes to work, get his hands dirty, willing to do pretty much everything. So very, very fortunate to have these 3 individuals start here with Leduc County and fit in very well into our operations. So
Well, welcome all of you. Come on over. We'll just do a
one at a all 3.
One at a time. Welcome.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
You need it. Welcome.
Amos.
Welcome to Leduc County. Glad to have you on here. Leduc County thing for you. I was wondering where all the good people let you run months. There you go.
Brian.
Well, welcome to all of you, and we wish you a really long career here in the we have some long stories. And
Thank you, Madam Chair and Council. So Craig Campbell's been with the county now for 5 years. Seems like longer because he's done the work of about 10 years in those 5. Nothing gets done in our facilities or much preferably without Craig being involved. So it's great for us to have him here. He's got a lot of municipal experience. We're in good shape for now and in the future because of Craig, with budgets and everything else and planning for the future. And it's a pleasure to recognize his 5 years and to have him with us.
congratulations. Hope to have you for at least another 10.
Thank you. I'm pleased to recognize Carla Leipert for 10 years with Leduc County. Carla is our senior services coordinator, and as council is aware, it is one of our most rewarding, yet often sometimes the most challenging services that we offer. But Carla does that with professionalism and patience required. And I know that many of our seniors across the region are very happy that she is the one to answer the call and give them the supports that they need to be successful. So thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, Carla, and thank you for all the service you do for our seniors. I had the opportunity to work really close with her at an event at our hall and was loved by everyone there, and helped clean tables too. Thank you. Okay. Going to go down to Finance. We're going to go to, we do have a public hearing. It's scheduled for 1:45. We can't do 1:40. We can't do the hearing ahead of time. So we will go down to 6A, which is a report from our finance department to waive property tax penalties. Okay, the floor is yours.
Good af-
Oh. Yep, you're good.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm here today with a recommendation to deny the request to cancel a tax penalty of $75.62 on roll 1128098. Administration connected with the property owner on June 26, 2023, after being notified by a financial institution that the institution would no longer pay the tax for that property. On June 28, 2023, the property owner submitted a request to waive the penalty since the property owner had a concern of paying the tax by the due date. Our recommendation of not to cancel the penalty of $75.62 on roll 1128098 is based on adhering to the penalties on current and arrears of property tax bylaw 01-21.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions on the report? Councillor Lewis, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you tell me when our notices went out to all residents or property owners?
May 11th, 2023.
If I may further,
Yes,
did they acknowledge why they didn't get the notice? It just says that they didn't receive it until the 26th, but is there any reason why they didn't get it when it was sent out?
That's not part of the information that was provided. I don't have the knowledge why they did not receive. I did look into the records. We did not receive any returned notice from that property. Yeah.
anyone else? So the letter attached in a report states that they did, thank you, Councillor Lewis, receive their tax assessment on June 26th. That still provided an opportunity to pay before June 30th. I'm not sure why. Did you have any conversation about why in those 4 days they were unable to pay their taxes?
Based on the email that the property owner provided, is a very short period of time between the time they received the notice and the due date, comparing to like if the notice was received in May.
And the last question, and the answer may not that you don't know it. Is this a new resident to our county that might not have known that every year we pay taxes on June 30th? Do we know if this is a new resident?
Not to my knowledge, I'm not too sure.
Thank you. Any further questions? I am seeing none. I'm looking for a motion. I will put the motion on the floor, and I will put the motion on that we deny the request to cancel $75.62 of tax penalty on roll 1128098. And the reasons why I'm moving that we deny the request is that despite the fact that the notice was only received on June 26th, there was still opportunity to pay. Secondly, we have not changed our due date for taxes, as do most municipalities, being the end of June, and that there was really no rationale in the letter about why they were unable to pay on those days. And for those reasons, I believe we should deny the request, and I open the floor up for any debate. Seeing no debate, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have about 3 minutes. I will just ask administration to come forward for the public hearing and start setting up. We won't start until 1:45, but it does give you a couple of minutes to get connected and prepared. Okay, great. And it- Hey. It's going to wait. We are at 1:45. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes here for Counselor Verdi, because if he misses part of the public hearing, he's unable to vote at the public hearing. I think he probably just stepped out for a minute, so we will just wait for a minute or two. I would send somebody out to look for him, Counselor Smith, but then it would become like a horror movie and people, yes, and then people just disappear. That's right. One at a time, they never come back. Okay. You. So with that, I'm going to call our public hearing to order. Council is here to listen to the information presented and make a decision on the matter that is the subject of the hearing, which is to amend Leduc County Land Use Bylaw number 7-08 LA 23001 from AG to DC District. This is a formal hearing and not a debate. Everyone wishing to speak who has pre-registered will be given an opportunity to speak once to the matter as called by myself as chair. Each presenter must state their full name, address, their interest in the matter, including whether they are in support or non-support. Individuals who do not identify themselves will not be given an opportunity to speak, and each presenter is asked to sign the form located on the presenter table. Presenters are asked to keep within a 5-minute time limit of their presentation and are encouraged when speaking to keep their presentation to the point and refrain from restating points raised by a previous speaker if possible. If new presentation materials are provided, you may be required to email a copy to the legislative coordinator. With that, I will now call upon our planning and development staff, Ms. Raymond, to introduce the subject of the hearing. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and Council. Leduc County Planning and Development brings forth an application for a proposed land use amendment for a direct control district for the consideration of a resort recreational facility. The subject property is located at the junction of Highway 625 and Range Road 244, and it is positioned at the northeast boundary of the city of Beaumont and adjacent to the country residential Cada Vista subdivision. It is also approximately 1.4 kilometers east of Nisku. Next. Next. The subject property is located at northeast 20/50/24, west of the 4th meridian with the titled area of 79 acres of land. The direct control district is proposing to affect approximately 11.19 hectares of land, which is equal to 27.65 acres. Okay. The direct control district proposes 11 land uses, many of which already exist within the agricultural zoning district. Of these 11 uses, there are only 2 not listed in the agricultural district, which are market garden and resort recreational facility. These 2 uses can be found in the agricultural country residential transitional district and the lake watershed district. The land use bylaw 7-08 defines market garden as a facility where plants such as flowers, herbs, fruits, and vegetables are cultivated in greenhouses or outdoor garden plots and sold on site to the general public. The land use bylaw defines a resort recreational facility as a comprehensive development that may consist of accommodation services, convention facilities, restaurants, indoor and outdoor recreational facilities, and minor retail establishments. If the direct control district were to be approved, it should be considered that the definition of resort recreational facility allows for convention facility type uses. Convention facilities, as defined in the land use bylaw, are venues that host large gatherings such as meetings, seminars, product and trade fairs, and other expeditions. Weddings and other types of celebratory events may be considered under this definition. As noted in the report, several development permits have been issued for various uses on the site, including a rural wedding and agricultural event facility, a commercial greenhouse, a campground, and a dwelling, as well as a dwelling secondary and berms. In 2020, the county approved a development permit for a temporary 2-year approval for a rural wedding and agricultural event facility on these lands. Later in 2020, the county also approved a second development permit for the expansion of this facility. Okay. On July 5th, 2023, Development Services undertook a site inspection of the lands. This first photo shows the entrance to the property from an eastward direction. Here you can see the developed parking area, which is located on the east side of the property. This photo shows the main event center looking north with some of the existing trees that act as a shelter belt between the event grounds and its agricultural lands, as well as Highway 625, which is directly north of this structure. This photo shows part of the outdoor gathering area, while this photo shows a portion of the landscaped event grounds. This photo here shows some of the grounds as well as a privacy wall around the geodetic campground accommodations. These images here show the covered garden from a south vantage point. Here you can see the seasonal sea-can shelter from a southeast view. While this photo shows 2 of the geodetic structures that are part of the temporary campground approval. This photo here is of the sea-can shelter with some of the trees that act as that shelter belt previously mentioned. This photo shows the frame and fabric structure, which is the commercial greenhouse from a northward direction. Here you can see some of the hops plants. These are the Haskap berry bushes. This photo here shows that shelter belt previously mentioned, which shields the western side of the developed site. This photo is of the large berm that separates the developed area of the site and the remaining agricultural lands of the parcel. This final photo here shows the distance from the edge of the proposed west boundary of the proposed direct control district, as well as the boundary of the subject parcel. As discussed in the report, the resort recreational facility would allow for a mix of uses to be considered on the subject lands. These uses include a comprehensive development that consists of accommodation services, convention facilities, restaurants, indoor and outdoor recreational facilities, and minor retail establishments that support agriculture, value-added agricultural services, and agritourism. These subject lands are within the rural county of the municipal development plan. A main objective of this area is to retain the rural character by promoting diversification of agriculture and agribusiness. The MDP supports a wide range of employment opportunities in the rural county that are appropriately located to minimize land use conflicts with agriculture and support economic diversity within the rural landscape. The MDP defines agriculture as growing crops, foods, horticulture, agri-food, and value-added enterprises, including education motivated by either profit or lifestyle. On these lands, agriculture uses include growing crops of haskap berry bushes, hop plants, and a variety of herbs and vegetable gardens. The MDP defines value-added agriculture as the addition of a process or service to an agriculture raw material being produced by the producer. This may include distilling or direct marketing, such as farm gate sales, farmers markets, or direct distribution. The value-added agriculture aspect of this proposed direct control district includes the proposed market garden, growing spaces, greenhouses, and farm-based alcoholic beverage production facility. With respect to the regional agriculture master plan, these lands are located within the rural agriculture area of the plan, which supports agriculture, value-added agriculture activities, and agritourism. RAMP defines agritourism as farmer-related tourism uses, including limited accommodation, direct to consumer sales, agriculture, education, recreation, and activities that involve observation and participation in the farming operations. Aspects of this proposed direct control district that include agritourism are the proposed educational programs and seminars, farm-to-table dinners, workshop spaces, and overnight accommodations. As part of the referral process, the application was referred to 84 adjacent landowners, of whom 4 provided comments, which are contained within the report. Concerns were expressed with respect to the existing campground, noise, overall scale of the proposed event facility, and traffic. The application was referred to Leduc County's internal departments and other external agencies. No objections were noted in this referral process. Supporting this direct control district would allow this existing business to continue its operations. Any future land use proposals within this proposed direct control district would require a valid development permit application to come before council for its consideration. This process would establish conditions to be placed on any future development approvals, which could mitigate adjacent landowner concerns such as traffic and operating hours of specific events and other nuisance factors. In consideration of this report, Leduc County Planning and Development Administration finds that the land use amendment proposes to support agriculture, value-added agriculture, agritourism uses, as well as some non-agricultural related uses within the scope of the proposed resort recreational facility. As a result, administration recommends that should council wish to approve this application, that they give first, second, and third readings to the proposed land use bylaw amendment to redistrict 11.19 hectares of land of the subject parcel from the agricultural district to the direct control district. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm going to open up the floor for clarifying questions to administration at this time. Any clarifying questions? Councillor Smith and then Councillor Lewis.
Can you comment on the development history in your package, which is the approval dates, permit numbers, and how they would correspond with the map that you showed of current uses? Or I guess just to summarize the, just let me find the, you had a list of current uses. If you could pull that back up. And I believe that is page 30 of 45 of our package. Right on the bottom, you have 10 uses and you have a history page, which indicates permits that were there. Are all 10 of these current existing site usages still permitted?
Yes, that's correct. Or through the Madam Mayor. Yes, that's correct.
Right, thank you.
Councillor Lewis.
Because they're temporary.
Thank you. Should a permit be issued for this? What is the extension of the period for the permit? How many years will it be in place? And will they have to come back for renewal?
So through the chair, I just provide some further clarification regarding Councillor Smith's question. Not all the permits are active anymore. That is why the application is in front of you today. So there is there's two structures on site that don't have permits. One is a cabin that we are looking at permitting, and one is the sauna. As well as there was temporary permits given, which did expire in the fall of 2022. So if the redistricting does go through, then we would bring forth an application to ask council to give them another temporary 2-year approval for which we would now call a resort recreational facility, to allow them to continue with their events.
Councillor Lewis, you're good? You had a supplemental, Councillor?
No,
Smith? Okay.
actually, it was explained. Thank you.
Thank you. So what we're doing today is changing the districting. So there are some comments in some of the letters about hours of operation and things like that. Those conditions are always attached to a development permit. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So there's opportunity as we move forward for council, because once it's direct control, council makes the decision. I would assume that as the owners look for a new development permit, the conditions would be brought forward and council would decide on what conditions we believe would be appropriate. Is that correct?
Yes, so through the chair, we will recommend conditions to mitigate the adjacent landowner concerns. And we will most likely recommend a temporary approval continuance as well.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Verdi?
Just two clarifications. So out of the 84 adjacent notifications, we only received back 4 concerns
Yes.
and one more. And the second clarification is, throughout the time that this venue has been in operation, we have received no complaints whatsoever.
So through the chair, we have never received any complaints regarding the operation. The only concerns we did receive at one point was when they didn't have permits yet. We did have concerns come forward regarding permits, which they did get permits to have everything on site. And then probably a little bit of confusion now of, I think, a few people wondering what's happening with it and why the application now, because I don't understand that people are given temporary permits and it still exists today. So, but yes, we didn't receive any, we have no enforcement file on this property.
Thank you. Councillor Balazer, clarifying questions?
Yeah, clarifying question. Campground with luxury domes. Now, does this mean that me as a person with a holiday trailer can camp there, or is this just stop and have lunch? Or can you clarify this for me?
So through the chair, the domes that Kayla did show on the screen, they are geodomes, and their hope. First off, the answer is no. You cannot bring your trailer and just camp there as a campground. You can rent a geodome and stay overnight. And I know their hope in the future is to bring cabins in, but of course that would require a permit to come in front of council as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Any further questions? I am seeing none. Mr. Coleman, did we receive any other correspondence that has not been included or provided to council?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, we did not. So with that, thank you very much to administration. I ask you to step back. I have on my list 3 registered speakers. So we will go through our registered speakers first. And if there's anyone else who is in the gallery today that would like to address council, we'll allow that to happen. Just a reminder that you need to sign in, state your name, whether you're for or against, and you have a 5-minute time limit. The 5-minute is to ensure equity for all speakers. Our first speaker on my list is Benoit Trudeau. So if you could come forward.
Should I sit here? Yes.
Sure, that's fine.
Perfect.
And when you begin your presentation, we will begin timing. So.
Perfect. So yeah, well, thank you for having me today. My name is Benoit Trudeau. I'm an urban planner by trade. I've been working with Carrie and David and their family on that property for over a year now, and with the county as well with all the permitting issues and other stuff here. And just want to state how much this property, and I'm of course in favor of that change. But I just want to state a couple of things that first, the quality of the development. Kerry and David have developed a resort type development aimed at farming that is over and above what the regular Joe or over and above what we're used to do. It's something of very, very high quality. So when you speak of the quality of development, even the attention they spend to even include the filtration system for fountains that they have and other stuff, there's a lot of concern that neighbors might have in terms of affecting any values, property value. I believe that this property is as good quality as a Fairmount Hotel in terms of where they set the bar, in terms of what type of service installation they do, as well as when you look at the in terms of noise control. No, they've been very intentional, and it's as well for them to create these barriers of green and these mounds and these. So, and when you look at the closest neighbors at South Vista, they are actually the closest house actually at 900 meters from the farthest point of the development. So these houses are actually way more can be more disrupted by the highway presence, which is only at 120 meters of the closest house than from that property. So when you speak about noise and stuff like that, the other thing I want to state as well, I know amongst that here that I become friend and saw them operate their stuff. They put their heart in it, and they are very intentional as well with it's their family property. So even for their guests, they don't let crazy parties happening there. They don't let people just trash the place. The quality and that goes the price they charge as well calls for maybe a higher type of quality of events. So I think that all that combined, it's a great, I think it can become like a jewel for Leduc County in terms of promoting agricultural activities and other stuff that can be done on farm. I believe it can become like an example. Kerry is very intentional at involving local people, students, and other plans. So I believe it's a great asset for Leduc County overall, and this is why I'm in favor of that proposal.
Great. Thank you very much. You can step back. Carrie Hames. I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. I'm pretty good on the Carrie.
So I am Carrie Hames, and my address is 50374 Range Road 244. And good afternoon, and thank you. I'm going to read this. I'm very nervous because I do feel like this is a big deal.
Take your time.
So Tangled may be new, but we are not. We have been part of this county since the 80s. We have provided opportunities, solutions, created jobs, supported local businesses and family in our area for over 4 decades. We are very proud of this. We are even more proud that we are still trying to create solutions. I believe that we're all fortunate to live in one of the best counties. Our family has both been living and working in Leduc County for over 40 years. We have a lot of family and friends. We have uncles, aunts, cousins, sisters, and even our dentist is living in the Vistas, Beaumont, and surrounding areas. Last night, when I was reading our neighbors' comments, I realized I would like to give a personal reach out as well as an open invitation to visit us anytime. Please come and see what we've created. It has been an incredible amount of personal effort at great financial sacrifice, but it is special. We have never had fireworks at any of our events, as well as we have purchased a decimal sound reader in which we utilized several times. Sorry, guys, I'm really nervous.
No, you're doing
really
fine.
nervous.
Just we can hear
So
you
funny. I don't
fine.
think I've been
Just
this
keep
nervous in
going.
a long time. During our events to respect our neighbors. And the highway and the frog croaking, literally, those noise readings have always surpassed our music. Also, I believe the proximity of the Niskayuna Industrial Park is simply a reality of the equipment activities in the backup alarms. To date, we have never worked harder for less or risked more for opportunities that we hope to extend to others. We have been exploring, very exciting, a 365-day growing technology, creating reasons for people to stay in Alberta instead of traveling outside, building awareness for our local producers, and establishing workshops and markets to share, care, and create with each other. We are simply trying to provide options and ideas that make sense and create self-sustainability and reliance for others and for our next generation. We never started with any big picture. When we purchased the property, it was really just about taking care of our parents and a place that we could do that. I was one of the original auditors for Habitat for Humanity. And I believe in giving. I also believe very much in restoring and adding value and taking something, making it beautiful out of something that a lot of people would just simply discard. So I loved having a platform or making a platform for local marketers and producers and building awareness in Leduc County. I have been in the park for over, like I said, close to 4 decades, and I never knew that we had garlic growers, mushroom farms, honey farms, microgreen flower farms, cherries, distilleries, gardens, pigtopias. And then it was like a wrecking ball. COVID hit. Everybody here has experienced real and unexpected loss through the pandemic. Jobs, abilities to take care of loved ones' lives, health and wellness, and even mental well-being, to name a few. If the last few years has taught us anything, it is that Alberta has to create other avenues and options to support each other, as well as offering or introducing more emphasis on our health and wellness activities. The big picture for Tangled is now simple. We want to be a real solution for recovery and future forward, but also an inspiration for what people can do instead of what they cannot. We have planted over 600 trees, 500 perennials. I'm so sorry, guys. This is actually in the report. We have completely restored vacant shops and created water features and garden walks and growing spaces, etc. At Tangled's Roots, we hope to continue our family legacy of creating jobs, opportunities, and supporting local by building a destination, creating learning platforms, and introducing new sustainable ideas and processes from which promote Leduc County as one of the many agritourism destinations with all of our own special flavors and experiences. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Our last registered speaker today is Marianne McDonald. So come forward, Marianne. I know I've said your name right.
I know. That's a hard one, right?
Yeah, I like that. And whenever you're ready, we will start the timer when you begin.
Sign in here first.
Yes.
Oh, my name's in here already. Do I need to sign it again?
Just sign it.
I did. All right, we're good.
All right, whenever you're ready.
I'm not really for or against. I'm just here to learn. A lot of my concerns have been addressed by council. I guess my biggest concern, I live at 2030-503 Range Road 244A. It's a residential area, and my biggest concern is traffic. We already deal with traffic cutting through there. The speed limit is 50K. We get 60, 70, 80Ks. And the road adjacent to that property is gravel. So most people from urban centers don't want to drive gravel roads. So I'm afraid we will be dealing with traffic going through there that we're not accustomed to. So what is the plan to address the road that runs along the side of the property to make sure that people in the area are safe and aren't being bothered by heavy traffic in the area? I guess that's my biggest concern. And I know a lot of it will be dealt with if the development permits come forward. So that's my only concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. McDonald. Appreciate that. I'm going to open up the floor for anyone who would wish to address us in this public hearing who did not pre-register. Anyone who'd like to come forward who did not pre-register? Calling a third time. I am seeing no one come forward. With that, council, do you have any further questions for administration at this time? Can we come forward, administration? Councillor Lewis has a question.
Thank you. In respect to noise that may float through the air to the vistas, is there any appetite by the applicants to not develop on the west side of the trees to keep the noise somewhat muffled?
So through the chair, the lands to the west are being retained as agricultural. So they are not being proposed to go to direct control district. So there will be no development on the west side of the lands as it stands today.
Just to clarify, I'm looking at the map on page 31 of our package, which shows the red outline.
So we'll just bring up the map on the. Yeah, so the red area will remain agricultural. And the blue, I'm not sure, I want to make sure we all there. So that map there on the eastern boundary with the hatched is going to be the direct control district. And the remaining of the lands is remaining agricultural, which is adjacent to the vistas.
I guess I'm just wondering, because there is a massive buffer there of pine trees.
Yes, there is as well.
So that's what I'm wondering. Would they have any appetite to not develop on the west side of that to keep the noise buffer to the east of the tree?
As it stands right now, they're just developing up to the shelter belts. So they haven't expressed any plans to develop on the other side.
If I could, although I see plans on this map that they're developing on the west side.
To see the.
Sorry, it's on page 31 of our package.
Here, so this is like where the berms are, and they have that,
Yeah, so the map that you have is zoomed in, and I believe it's the water that there's water ponds on the other side that they use for watering for their hops. And
I guess it says luxury cabins on the map that I'm seeing for future.
yeah, so I just have to make sure. This one here, Councillor Lewis?
Yes.
So that's a zoomed in map of the parcel of where the direct control.
There's little purple marks on the just to the left side of the trees.
Yeah.
And in the legend, it's saying they're luxury cabins for the future site usage. So it looks like they're planning to develop on that side.
Yeah, so there is a berm along the entire western boundary where you can see it's kind of stripped. The cabins are being located on the east side of the berm, so nothing is going outside on the west.
Thank you.
As of right now, but I mean, if, like I said, any site plan they bring forward, they propose will have to come to council. And if the location isn't right, I mean, we certainly won't support anything outside the direct control district.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Balazer and then Councillor Smith.
Yes, Hascap varies. Roughly how many acres is there? And is that going to be a U-pick then? Or is it just you first to answer the first question, any idea? Acres?
I have no idea. I would have to
Don't know.
I would have to ask the landowners.
Oh, so not really that severe then. So it's something I should be asking them, I guess.
Okay,
Not
no, okay, thank you. Councillor
No,
Smith.
that's fine. Thanks.
No, it's not a U-pick and it's about 5 acres.
Thanks.
Looking right now at the current discretionary uses and permitted uses, could the plan not be accommodated within the current ag zoning, which allows, I'm not seeing anything that couldn't be dealt with planning and development. Sometimes I'm wondering just if what they're proposing can't be accommodated within the current rules, which is discretionary and permitted.
So through the chair, the reason the application came forward is planning felt direct control is the best fit due to the resort recreational facility is not in the agricultural district. And now that we do not have rural agricultural event facilities as well in our agricultural district, there was no use that could accommodate the convention event facility use or actually a market garden. So that the whole atmosphere of this development felt that it's a good fit for agritourism development, and it is unique, which would then fit into a direct control district. It also gives council way more control over coming forward for the renewals of the permit. And instead of course, in the, not saying in this staff's hands, but it helps, I think, better control being in council's hands. So we just felt it was a good fit for the type of development that's going on, this development. And like I said, we wouldn't be able to accommodate that use for that event facility within the agricultural district.
Is pretty much a primary use.
It is on this parcel.
Councillor Smith, follow up.
Okay, and again, I would challenge you on that. Looking at it says within it, limited to higher intensity agricultural activities on smaller lots, while at the same time providing for limited residential and other uses having a secondary role to agriculture. So again, the presentation today was a role with agriculture being probably the primary use of the property. And I'm looking at areas you have cultural facility, local community facility within discretionary uses. And again, I would challenge you to say that what was proposed today could fit in the planning and development, being able to go through these and look at setting the terms and conditions that you have without having to have council going through a direct control. So again, if you could comment on that.
So through the chair, we found that local community facility does not fit for this, as local community is typically municipality or community owned, and this is private vendor owned. So it does not fit within a local community facility designation. And culture, sorry, I did not bring my land use bylaw with me, but I do know that it did not fit the intended use of a cultural facility as well. That's why, like I said, we felt this was the best fit, the resort recreational facility, which is a use in our land use bylaw, just not in the agricultural district, which is why we were putting it into the direct control.
Thank you. Thank you for your clear answer. Clarifying question, Councillor Verdi?
Just to note on a concern about traffic impact, seeing as how the access point into Tango Roots is roughly 164 meters away from Township 504, would you foresee any negative impact through the South Vistas in terms of traffic?
So through the chair, I'm not an engineer, so I don't want to speak to if I foresee any traffic impacts to them, but I do know that Alberta Transportation is asking and have in the past as well asked for a traffic impact assessment, and as well as our local engineer, our engineers for the county too. So I would assume any impacts that they have out of that impact assessment, they will have to adhere to if there's improvements that are needed.
Thank you. Any further clarifying questions for administration? I am seeing none. Thank you very much. With that, I will close the public hearing at 2:21, and I will open up the floor for debate and decision by council. I will start. We're shy today. I will actually put first reading on the floor. What I heard today was a development that actually fits a lot of what council is working towards, which is around local food, rural diversification, and those types of things. I believe that, much like administration, the notion of direct control is a really good fit here. We can manage and have better oversight through direct control to ensure that not only are permit conditions met, but that we're actually monitoring a little bit more closely what's happening. So perhaps if it is successful, we can look at a replicate somewhere else. That's part of what direct control would help us do as well. So those are the reasons. And thanks to Councillor Verdi's question, there have been no complaints. There have been no enforcement files against this current operation, which shows that I believe the operators are keen to not only be successful in Leduc County, but to be good neighbors as well. So I'm going to put first reading on the floor now, and it is open for any other comments or debate. Councillor Balazer.
Yeah, just a comment. The reason I asked about the U-pick was the traffic. And so with that not being a U-pick, that traffic won't be there, so there won't be extra traffic. So with that, I would support first reading.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, or debate on first reading? Councillor Smith?
Yes, again, just explaining the process to everybody what first reading means and when council would sit back and put some conditions, as you had mentioned, being in control with direct control, conditions that council would want to see. Can I direct that to administration?
Dwayne?
So, Madam Chair, members of council, if council proceeds with 3 readings and rezones this to direct control district, then the development permit process would come forward to council. any conditions that administration would set for the development based on things we heard today at the public hearing, things that was raised by council, would come forward as proposed conditions within the development agreement. Obviously, we work with the developer as well to make sure that they can live or adhere to the conditions that would be posed there. So.
Follow up? Yep.
Just for clarification, today would be moving forward with the ability to change the land use, and then we'll see something back at council for council to discuss the terms of the direct control and the operations of the business.
That's correct. All this does today is rezone it. If council moves forward with it, rezones it to a direct control district zoning. All those other elements will come forward at a future council meeting to be resolved with council.
Thank you. Further questions, comments, or debate? Councillor Lewis?
Just a comment. I agree with you in this is probably a great fit for this area, considering there has been no complaints by adjacent landowners. It fits with the education, promoting agritourism and small market gardens and everything that they've been trying to promote our residents to do. So I will support this today.
Thank you. Councillor Smith?
Again, good presentations today by everybody that came forward, administration, informative, the applicant. Thank you for your information today. I think it's really important, again, if we do get into direct control, that we set conditions that are, I guess, sensitive to traffic, being a busy road, sensitive to the community, so there's no negative impacts. I agree the agricultural component and what we're trying to attract for businesses into Leduc County are very valuable, and they can be a central point, but we need to be extremely careful with hours of operation, with traffic control, again, impaired driving, and just people staying with the luxury cabins coming in. Definitely wouldn't want to see it become a 24/7 weekend party zone, but definitely would like to see it being an agricultural resort that really highlights what we're trying to do here in a sensitive way to our local community, but also to what we see in the province. So I can support it, and we'll be looking for a robust discussion when we get to terms of the permit.
Thank you very much. Well said, Councillor Smith. Seeing no further hands up, so I will call question on first reading. All in favor? That is unanimous. Looking for second reading, Councillor Balazer will put his name forward for second reading. Any further comments, questions on second reading? Seeing none, all in favor? That is unanimous. Go to third reading in the same day. Councillor Scobie, going to third reading on the same day needs to be a unanimous decision of council. All in favor? That is unanimous. And third reading, Councillor Wanchuk, thank you very much. Comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? That is unanimous. It has been carried. With that, we look forward to administration bringing forth conditions to ensure the success not only of this business, but other businesses like it in the county. With that, we are at the end of our agenda, 2:27. I will adjourn. Thank you all for joining us today.